Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Madness here on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And when we say the word madness, that's exactly what this night has been. Nothing but complete and utter madness. But, I'm so glad to be here with the guys, with Anthony Florio, with Michael Bullock, as always. And we are just about ready to go. Uh, you guys know the routine. We're gonna start with NXT, then we're gonna follow it up with AEW Dynamite, and we definitely got a lot to talk about on both fronts because these shows were absolutely just insane tonight. So, with that said, let's move. Let's just start it, boys, and we're gonna start with NXT, the fallout from Heat Wave. And here we go. We started with a promo segment by the new NXT champion. It was All Ego Ethan Page. Then he got interrupted by a host of people. Obviously, the first thing that came out was Oro Mensa trying to get his hands on Ethan Page. Well, security did his job, and that never happened. Then after that, Trick Williams came out demanding a rematch, only to be interrupted by Sean Spears, then to be interrupted by Javon Evans, and that turned into a brawl. At the end of the day, this is going to be an interesting story, to say the very least, and it led us to the main event of the evening, but we'll get into that in just a little while. But all in all, good promo by All Ego Ethan Page. The fans were on him, telling him, get the hell out. So they were definitely giving him the heat. And this is a perfect way to start the All Ego era, as Ethan Page alluded to. So nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, my goodness. NXT starts out red hot with the new champ. Yeah, it's yours.
Well, I'll tell you, MF, this was a solid opener carried heavily by the new NXT champion. It took all of a couple minutes for Ethan Page to show why he won the NXT championship. He is one of the most confident promos on the roster and did not skip a beat when he was interrupted. Logically, Trick should get the first match against Page, but NXT may want to save that for a special show. In the meantime, Javon Evans or Sean Spears could talk their way into an opportunity, even if they don't have great cases. The most exciting future competitor for All Ego could be Oro Mensa. He has sold himself as a hotter challenge for Ethan Page than even Trick Williams. He just needs to prove he deserves an NXT championship opportunity. So there's not really much more to say on that. Yeah, I'm not going to go into any further detail on that. I don't really like to go into further detail on a promo, usually only for matches. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, big start here. Your new champion cuts a promo. All hell breaks loose. And your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought this was a good promo to start by Ethan Page. I mean, saying we're in the all ego era. And yeah, and to me, I think Oro Mensa should be the first one to challenge him, because remember, Mensa still got a bone to pick with All Ego Ethan Page, because I think he was the one that Ethan Page took out Noam Dar. So he's still looking for that payback. So we'll see what happens here. So there's really nothing more to say on it. So let's move on, Fletch.
Not only did All Ego Ethan Page take out Noam Dar, but he also took him out too. So, and everybody thought it was Trick Williams that stirred it, and it wasn't. Everybody, the metaphor we're pinning it on Trick, and Trick actually was innocent, and it was All Ego that took out both men. So yeah, there was and Oro has not properly gotten his hands on All Ego. There's been a few times where he's tried to, but
he will eventually.
He will, yes, exactly. First fight of the night was Carmen Petrovic going up against Ariana Grace. Now, this stemmed from what went down at Heatwave after the match when Carmen and Ariana won the tag team matchup, but Ariana shot her mouth off saying that how she was the guiding light to the victory and that Carmen was nothing but the weak link. And, well, it was kind of fighting where Ava was there, and she's like, you know what? Let's settle the score. Let's see who was the better of the two. Let's do it. You two, one-on-one in a match Tuesday night on NXT. Carmen was like, cool, I'm good with that. Ariana, not so much. And yeah, it proved to be the bad move for her. Carmen wins the match in 2 minutes and 36 seconds. But after the match, Fallon Henley showed up and jumped Carmen Petrovic. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
This was over way too fast. After a fun warm-up match for Heatwave, Ariana Grace and Carmen Petrovic deserved a bigger spotlight for their subsequent battle. Grace is one of the better pure character workers in NXT. She will recover from what amounted to a one-sided squash, but she can do so much more than lose in 2 minutes in the ring. Petrovic and Grace as a tag team still feels like the best path forward, assuming they can settle their differences after this match. JC Jane and Jasmine Nix arrived to watch Grace and Petrovic fight closely. And as far as Fallon Henley is concerned, hey, what has she been preaching about? I'm in it for myself now. I'm done being the nice one that puts others over.
Fallon comes first.
Fallon comes first. And she took a big step forward with that. And we will address her later on because it led to a match for her later in the night. So I still believe Fallon Henley will be the one to dethrone Kalani Jordan for that NXT Women's North American Championship. I believe it. So I love the new heel character. I enjoyed how this went down. So there isn't much more to say here. So Michael Bullock, dud of a match. You could really say, but I'll be honest with you. I have every right to call this a dud, but I'm not going to call it a dud because I'm going to be honest with you guys. This was a Tony special because these are two of my favorite girls in the women's division of NXT. I love them both, especially Carmen Petrovic. Oh my goodness. But at the same time, I'm gonna be generous here and I'm gonna give it 1 star, even though you could give it a dud if you wanted to, but I'm gonna give it 1 star, just because I love both of these girls so much. So I had a lot. Needless to say, I had some big fun during this match. So not much more to add. So Bullock, all kidding aside, Fallon Henley, Fallon first.
Yeah, and I can only imagine, Floria, what she would think of the Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs situation. But in all honesty,
the sit down with Ava went better than expected.
But you know what Fallon would say? I could give 2 you-know-whats about what's going on with them because I only care about one person, and that's me. Fallon comes first, and she proved it in this match. And yeah, I'm going to give this a dud. I'm sorry. This was just too short of a match here. So, and Fallon said something to JC Jane and Jasmine after the match saying that she hates Reese. Okay, Fallon, tell us how you really feel. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, no, this was a good segment. This was pretty good. I mean, yeah, it was short. You can give it a dud, but at least it serves the purpose. It's a storyline progression moment. It kind of feels like Carmen is gonna lean on Ariana again. I think with everything that's going on, this could be the perfect odd couple. Ariana could be the goofy little sidekick and everything else. Of course, the beauty, the grace. Carmen, she's got that fighter attitude, and I know that's why Anthony gravitates for her because of the fact that he loves that fighter attitude, that style, that she's building herself up, working herself out, doing whatever she needs to do. So I mean, I think that's a really good way to talk about it, but we'll see how it plays out. So next up we had was Lexis King versus Tony D'Angelo for the Heritage Cup, and it went 4 rounds, 2 minutes and 21 seconds in round number four, or I should say in round number five. The winner of the bout and still the owner of the Heritage Cup, the Don of NXT, Tony D'Angelo, Michael Bullock. It's yours.
Oh, what was the time?
2 minutes and 21 seconds in round number five.
What was the total overall?
Total
That's
time
all I'm
11
gonna
minutes
give
and
you.
20 11 minutes and 25 seconds total time.
All right, I'll give it about 3 stars here for the effort here, but no surprise about Tony D'Angelo retaining the Heritage Cup. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to add on to it. So it's your sledge.
Yeah, look, I mean, as far as total time goes, yeah, it was fine for what it was worth. I mean, at the end of the day, the right man won. I don't think there's really much for us to talk about. It was a solid performance. It was about a 2.5 to 3. Look, this one was a little more difficult to Heritage Cup matches are always tough. Are always tough to talk about because with the start stops, with everything that's going on, time limit wise, and everything else. Um, you can say whatever you want to say, but they got the right outcome was there, and this was a good showcase for Tony D. Lexis King didn't look like a legitimate threat or a problem in the match, and that's how it played out. There's really nothing more to add. So, Anthony, it is yours.
3 to 3.25. Early on, this was shaping up to be one of Lexis King's best performances today, but he did not adapt well to the Heritage Cup format. He looked and worked tired from about halfway through the third round. The in-ring character work was solid, and there is some promise in these two fighting. However, the heel would need to build up his stamina better for a serious rematch. NXT needs to figure out what to do with both of these guys. D'Angelo should have a serious rival rather than facing random last-minute challengers. He needs more respect as the Heritage Cup champion. Lexis King lacks serious credibility, and he needs some wins before he fully commits to his rivalry with Eddie Thorpe. Neither man got a full entrance. NXT seemed to be rushing everything. And Lexis King dropkicked D'Angelo at the bell for round 4, taking a cheap shot that nearly turned the tide of the bout. 3 to 3.25 stars. And we move on to a tag team match we were supposed to have last week, but due to shenanigans, did not happen. Well, not really shenanigans. It was more of attacks, but no, not last week, but we got it last night.
Yeah, it was Tyreek Igwe and Tyson DuPont versus Gallus, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang Joe Coffey in the corner. And it was Gallus winning in 3:17. I'm disappointed, man. This, with the way that the match was being set up, with the brawling, with everything else, you would think they would give him a longer fight, and they pulled the rug out from under us. I'm not even gonna dignify it with a rating or anything else. I don't even think it's even worthy of our commentary for God's sake. So I'm even willing to call move on if you boys don't mind.
Move on.
Move on.
All right. Next up was Wesley cutting a promo. Obviously, he talked about his future. He talked about how coming back from his injury that he had the one desire, and that was to become the NXT North American champion. And it ended up not happening. That he did lose. That he was thinking about the future. Didn't know what he was gonna do after what went down. It sounded like he was about to leave NXT. Sounded like he was gonna take his ball and go home. Well, that was changed because the next thing we know, two former friends of his, who's formerly of TNA, showed up, and the business picked up. Zachary Wentz, Trey Miguel, the Rascals were in the building, and everybody went nuts. I went nuts. Anthony Florio went nuts. Michael Bullock's probably like, who the hell are these guys? Sit back, Bullock. Me and Florio's got you. So when Trey Miguel, it was actually Zachary Wentz and Wes Lee. They were formerly MSK. We all know that. And former tag champions. They were amazing. Everything else. When you had the Rascals going around, now you got problems. Trey Miguel, former X Division champion, of course. Zachary Wentz, former NXT tag champ, and the crowd went nuts, and we're like, what is going on? And they were talking about, you know what? Why not? Let's do it. Can we get the Rascals back together? You know, get a little reunion going? Everybody was pumped up. They were like, let's do it. We got it. So the Rascals are back. They're back together. Oh my God, it's about to get lit in NXT. And could be lit for TNA too. You never know. They might have all three of them running around in TNA. I hope, Anthem, you're ready, because if all three are running around, there's going to be some trouble. I'm telling you, Anthony Florio, one of the first big bombs of the night, the Rascals, the reunion. And boy, you and I were eating this up more than anybody else.
Absolutely. And you could say it was a mark out moment for both of us. I mean,
agreed. Yep.
Yeah. And wait till you hear about what's going to happen next week here. But first, for those who know Wesley's pre-NXT history under the name Desmond Xavier, this was a special moment. The Rascals have not worked as a trio since 2020, when Wesley and Zachary Wentz signed to NXT. NXT fans, especially you, Bullock, should recall MSK, though. Even if Wentz was working under the name Nash Carter, no team was on a stronger path to success than them before Carter's release. And hopefully this will get all three men on a better course. In particular, it will be fun to showcase the talent of Trey Miguel to a new audience. He is a great talent all on his own, and he might just turn heads in NXT with what he will bring to the table. It is surreal to hear the TNA chant in NXT, but it seems like that is becoming a normal part of the brand. And backstage, Gallus stood up to the Rascals, promising to send them back to TNA. Couple things we need to address. First, tomorrow night on Impact Wrestling, Zachary Wentz of the Rascals is going to go one-on-one with someone who invaded TNA last week from NXT, Charlie Dempsey. Yeah, Charlie Dempsey versus Zachary Wentz tomorrow night, Impact Wrestling. And then from there, gentlemen, next week, 6-man tag team match, the Rascals versus Gallus. What? Are you kidding me right now? That has banger written all over it, guys. There is no doubt about it.
Gallus wanted competition. It don't get any better than the Rascals.
Oh no, indeed not, Bullock. You know Zachary Wentz. You know him. You best know him as Nash Carter. You best know MSK. And you've seen them work. But wait till you see Trey Miguel, man. Trey Miguel is a vastly underrated talent, and here's a guy who's been a former X Division champion. And don't forget him, if you forgot to mention that that Wentz and Miguel, the Rascals, former co-holders of the TNA Tag Team Championships as recently as earlier this year. They were TNA Tag Team Champions as well. So, but man, But Bullock, you're going to be in for a treat when you see Trey Miguel work. I'm going to tell you that right now. MF and I know him very well from TNA. You know, one of the great X Division pioneers and, well, not really a pioneer, but one of the great studs of the X Division nowadays. So, all right. So, I can honestly call this segment of the night. There's no question about it. This was the segment of the night. So, and MF, there's one other thing that Bullock needs to worry about. Now, considering it's a PG show, I don't think they're going to do the hijinks in the treehouse. We know what the Rascals could do in the treehouse. Oh, you don't want that, Bullock.
Oh no! Oh no!
But I think because of it being a PG show, I don't think we're going to get the treehouse stuff. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't know, man. WWE is starting to push the envelope a little bit, so
this is true.
You never know.
It's possible we might get a little bit treehouse, but if they do get the treehouse shenanigans, Bullock, you're in for it. You thought the Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, all those shenanigans was oh my god. The treehouse stuff is it's not good.
Yeah, I don't think I want to know.
You don't.
You don't.
Yeah,
we'll leave that for behind the scenes. But for right now, segment of the night, Michael Bullock, the Rascals, Trey Miguel, Zachary Wentz in NXT with Wesley. How about it?
Oh man, like you said, we know him as Nash Carter originally, but I can't wait to see what Trey Miguel does with especially come next week. I mean, the three of them together as the Rascals. Whew. I mean, they're going to rock not just NXT, but TNA as well. So, yeah, this was a great segment of the night as far as I'm concerned. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we're going to move right on along with that. Like I said, after that moment where it just kind of was like, holy crap, I can't believe this is really happening. But then we had Thea Hale going on one with Izzy Dane, and Thea Hale won the match in 3 minutes and 33 seconds. But the reason why was because Tatum Paxley was out there, and she kind of put the spooks on Izzy Dane. Izzy, I guess, did something, and Tatum kind of got a little angry about it, and in her own little sexy, creepy way, and yes, I'm gonna call it sexy as well because I kind of dig the crazy chick. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so she kind of was like, well, I don't have any friends, and everything else. And she even said that sooner or later she was gonna rip the head off of it, and she did. And the next thing you know, you see, who picked it up? Wendy Chu. So could we be on the path of maybe a Wendy Chu versus Tatum Paxley, or an unholy alliance between Wendy Chu and Tatum Paxley? I don't think there's enough crazy to deal with that, even for poor Michael Bullock. I mean, Anthony, what says you about that?
Well, I dig Tatum Paxley. You know that. Especially when she crossed the line and went after Jordan Grace for that Knockouts title recently.
Yeah, she did enter TNA. She was officially the first NXT woman or the first NXT talent to quote unquote cross the line.
And then Charlie Dempsey did it. So
yeah.
So but yes, yes indeed. Okay. Fine match, but again, too short for the purpose of pairing up two of the rising stars of the women's division. It was a shocking result, given Thea Hale lost recently to Jasmine Nix while Izzy Dame has been building momentum in recent weeks. It seems NXT is fast-tracking the Chase U Spitfire to an NXT Women's Championship match, which makes sense as the gold brand is low on babyfaces who can challenge Roxanne Perez. It's a shame booking did not build up Hale more in recent months as a true threat to Perez, though. It is hard to believe she will do what Lola Vice could not. Ridge Holland told Thea Hale that he got her a match with Izzy Dame that could lead to a women's championship match if she won. He then told Duke Hudson that he would face Oba Femi next week for the North American Championship. There's another potential banger right there. Tatum Paxley again appeared to watch Dame closely. Dame attacked Paxley, but went shoulder first into the steel post. And then caught by NXT Anonymous, Tatum Paxley told her doll that she was targeting Izzy Dame because she was a bully who felt she was above playing with women like Tatum Paxley. Wendy Chu found the doll afterward and smiled. So I could see why MF came up with that little scenario there. But nonetheless, it's a 1.5 for the effort. So not much more to say here. Bullock, your thoughts on all this craziness?
Yeah, I'll give it maybe 1 star, but yeah, I mean, this is absolutely crazy. I mean, with Tatum Paxley going after Izzy Dane, so man, I don't know what to make of all this. So nothing more to say. It's yours.
Yeah, about 1. I think that's the correct rating for that. And yeah, I don't know. It was pretty interesting to say the very least. We'll say that. Next up that we had was um, OTM versus the Good Brothers, and when it was all said and done, it was OTM winning the match in 4 minutes and 56 seconds. So Anthony Michael Bullock, it is all yours.
Again, another too short of a match here. So, but yeah, nice win here. So I'll give it about maybe 1.5. Not going to get too much into it. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It was a 1.5. It was fun for what it was worth. It just didn't really. It wasn't anything amazing. So we'll just say about that. And Anthony, it's yours.
What was the time again? 4 minutes?
4:56.
And this was the OTM and Gallows and Anderson match?
Yes.
Okay. 2.25, 2.5. Good win for OTM. The rising rookies made the most of the opportunities and picked up a win that felt like it mattered. It was still a shorter match than the build-up deserved, but at least the styles meshed well and the right team won. Hopefully, OTM is ready for how much NXT is putting behind the group. The stage has been set for Bronco Nima, Lucien Price, and Ms. Jada Parker to go after gold. And Jada Parker, that's Ms. Parker if you're nasty. So, little funny
Yes,
ode to Janet.
I know where that's going. I know where that went. Yep.
That's my little funny ode on commentary there. OTM talked a big game ahead of the group's entrance, and then Michin continued her fight with Parker at ringside despite referees intervening. So a lot of craziness in that one. So 2.25 to 2.5 stars. And we move on to more women's action. We got another women's match to get into before the big bomb, baby.
Yeah, Sol Ruka going 1-on-1 with Fallon Henley. Sol Ruka winning the match in 5 minutes and 4 seconds via disqualification. As basically it was, as it ended up being JC Jane and Jasmine Nix. They hit the ring to jump Sol to call for the bell. The match was getting good though. But Sol Ruka did hit the Soul Snatcher on Fallon, so that would have been endgame for Fallon if it wasn't for the DQ finish. It saved her from taking on. You could say it saved her from getting a very devastating and unnecessary loss. If you want to think about it, but at the end of the day, they did do the right thing by protecting Fallon, which was going to be a major defeat. But at the end of the day, they did an all right. So I got really nothing more to say. And this was about maybe, I'd say about a couple stars. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 2 stars. It started strong, but Sol Ruka seemed off her spot multiple times in this match. Whether it was a lack of chemistry or Sol Ruka needing more rest after her great bout with Kalani Jordan at Heatwave, she was off her game. This match only reinforced how special it was that Sol Ruka and Kalani Jordan accomplished what they did Sunday night. The former is still learning, but can pull out special performances with the right opponent. Hopefully, Ruka can work out what has been causing some of the recent hiccups in her other matches and get back on track. She and Fallon Henley are unlikely to be done with each other. JC Jane, Jasmine Nix, and Fallon Henley all work together finally this week, so this Mean Girls trio can begin building some credibility. This should set up multiple challengers for the Women's North American Championship, as she is certain to help Ruka. So, Fallon Henley was unhappy at Sol Ruka getting a title shot before her in a video that Ruka watched ahead of her match. That's what led up to this. So, 2 stars for me. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll give it 2 stars. I mean, it was getting good until the disqualification, thanks to JC Jane and Jasmine Nix. So there's really nothing more to say. Well, Fletch, it's time to get into the main event, and here's the other bomb, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so let's set up a little something here before we do anything. So during the show, the original main event was gonna be Trick Williams and Javon Evans. They were gonna go up against All Ego Ethan Page and Shawn Spears. Now, unfortunately, earlier in the night, Duke Hudson, well, not Duke Hudson,
Brooks Jensen
jumped Javon Evans and laid him out. Now, this triggered a whole bunch of trouble, and people were not happy, but Javon Evans was out. He's unable to fight. He was down. He was out. It's a no-go. So now the problem was, if you're Trick Williams, you need to find a partner. There was nobody around. So by the time that the moment came around, it looked like it was going to be a 2-on-1 handicap match. All Ego Ethan Page, Shawn Spears, they made their way to the ring. Trick Williams made his way to the ring. So we were set up, and it was about to be possibly a handicap match. Until you say his name, and he appears.
Come on, boy.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. The most over guy in professional wrestling.
The CWC absolutely freaks out with excitement. Joe Hendry making his way. He was there. He shows up. And yes, it does indeed happen. Joe Hendry is the tag team partner for Trick Williams. And it ended up being a very big moment because of the fact that it ended up being a win for Trick Williams and Joe Hendry. They winning the match in 10 minutes and 13 seconds in our main event of the evening. Who leads off on this?
I do.
Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Fight of the night, 3 1/4, teetering on 3.5 stars. It was great to see Joe Hendry in NXT again, and he was presented far better than on his first appearance. This was inevitable, though, considering his ability to go viral constantly. What was especially nice to see was his in-ring work. While he's not going to rival the best of the best in WWE, he knew how to play the crowd and make the most of his offense. Alongside the arrival of the Rascals, it was a great night for the TNA NXT partnership. It looks like possibly, maybe, Joe Hendry could be setting himself to possibly one day challenge for the NXT Championship. We believe chants echoed throughout this match, as well as fans singing his theme song. So, oh yeah, there isn't anything else left for me to say. Bullock and I, we talked about this earlier. We had a private chat earlier today, and we talked about this, and we agreed that right now, what Bullock said is not it ain't no lie. Joe Hendry is, without question, the most ridiculously over guy in professional wrestling today. More over than Cody Rhodes, more over than Jey Uso, more over than LA Knight, Seth Rollins, you name it. Joe Henry is that guy right now. And I would not at all be surprised if 10 nights from now, when we get to TNA Slammiversary in Montreal on the 20th, I would not at all be surprised if Joe Henry walks out the TNA heavyweight champion. I wouldn't. I would be shocked if he doesn't. That's all I'm going to say, considering how ridiculously over he is right now. Come on. So there isn't anything else left to say here. 3 1/4, teetering on 3.5. Fight of the night for me. So, Bullock, you wanted him? You got him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 3 1/4, 3.5 stars. Fight of the night. I mean, yeah, Joe Henry was definitely presented much better than his first time in NXT. And yeah, when he came out, that crowd was just going nuts, singing his theme song, and they were even doing it during the match. I mean, like you said, he's ridiculously over, more over than Cody Rhodes. I never would have thought I would hear myself say that. More over than Seth freaking Rollins, more over than LA Knight, more over than Jey Uso. I mean, I can't believe I'm actually saying these things, but that just shows you how popular he is right now. And I'm telling you right now, I really do hope he walks out the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. So, yeah, Trick Williams couldn't have found a better partner than Joe Henry. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. And I'm going to do it one more time. And if Florio wants to join in, be my guest.
Come on, MF.
No, he doesn't have to do it. I'm not going to force him to do it.
All right, Bullock. Let's do it one more time for our viewers out there.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Henry. I believe in Joe Henry. Fletch is probably like, oh my gosh. He's probably got the Michael Fletcher I can't take it face.
No, I'm just smiling, man. I actually don't mind it. There's certain things that you two knuckleheads do that makes me want to do the I can't take it face. But this is one that even I would have joined in, but I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna do it. But I do enjoy it. Like I do. I'll openly admit I like it. So.
All right, it's yours.
Overall review. I mean, all right. It's a mixed bag because we had a few short matches. We had some matches that just didn't really quote unquote tickle my fancy. Sorry. But I thought it was a solid show, especially with the TNA surprises, with the Rascals reuniting, with Joe Henry showing up at the end. It was awesome. That's exactly what we needed. I'll go maybe 7 to be safe. Like I said, there was too many short matches, but the quality of the show was actually good. So I can't be mad at NXT. But then again, coming off your best PLE of the year, I don't think we can say much about it. And nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it is all yours.
You mean me, right?
Yeah, Anthony, my bad. Sorry.
That's okay. I think we're all caught up in Henry. I think we all have Joe Henry fever right now. There's nothing left to say on that, especially Bullock. So, but anywho, all right. This is one of those times where I have to be the man who tells it like it is, and you know what that means. Constructive criticism's coming. On the back of a phenomenal heat wave, last night's NXT was chaotic and not always in a good way. It felt like officials packed too much in for just 2 hours, and it hurt much of the action. Too many matches were roughly 3 minutes, which especially impacted matches that were supposed to highlight growing rivalries. It was hard to follow the flow from one contest to the next, taking away from everything but the NXT championship scene and the TNA connections. However, those TNA arrivals were great. It was so good to see the Rascals back together again, and Joe Henry got a much-deserved spotlight that could lead to a major push in NXT. It would have been best to scrap a match or two so that more of the night's moments could get a spotlight, especially since little time was spent truly recapping a wild heat wave. Still, what needed to be done was successfully completed. The stage is set for NXT's summer focus to be on its growing partnership with TNA. MF, that's 7 out of 10. That was generous. I got to be honest with you. That was generous. 5 to 5.5 from me. It was in the middle. The Rascals and Joe Henry saved this show, even though we did have a couple of good matches here and there. The tag team main event, the Heritage Cup, and that was pretty much it. All the other matches were So right around the 5 to 5.5 mark for me. So not much more to say. Bullock, unfortunately, in a sense, it kind of had the feel of a back to reality show, which I'll be honest, I was expecting, especially after that red hot heat wave event. And but far and away the best part, the Rascals, and as of right now, what seems to be your new favorite wrestler in Joe Henry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I'm with Florio. It's a 5 for me. I mean, you did have a couple of good matches, and of course the appearances of the Rascals, and of course Joe Henry, but everything else was just bleh. I mean, if those things didn't happen, this would have been a very bad show. So nothing more to say. Let's quickly get into AEW Dynamite.
From Hart Family Country, baby. Oh yeah.
From the Saddle Dome in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, it was AEW Dynamite. And, we started out with a promo with Will Ospreay and MJF. We're not going to get into that. We do get into the first fight of the night, the final of the Owen Hart tournament for the men. Bryan Danielson versus Adam Hangman Page. Special guest enforcer, Jeff Jarrett. When it was all said and done, the winner of the bout in 25 minutes and 50 seconds, and now the man who will get a shot at the AEW World Heavyweight Championship at All In, going to Wembley, going to London, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. He wins it all and gets the title, gets the opportunity. Wow, what a match. This was without a doubt the fight of the night. It was a 4.5 to 4 3/4 of a star. If it would have been 5 or 10 more minutes, you would have gotten the 5. But I got to give constructive criticism about it as well. I don't understand, because of the fact that Adam Hangman Page just got back, that you gave him a significant loss like this. How is that going to play in the grand scheme of things? Where, okay, I get it. Danielson probably is a worthy opponent for Sean Strickland, for Swerve Strickland, for the title. I get it. But I kind of feel like maybe they made a mistake about this. I don't know. But at the end of the day, yes, it was the right man to win it, I guess. Like I said, I don't know, because a lot of people were saying that too. Like, you just had Hangman Page just come back from a major injury, the whole 9 yards, and you put him in the tournament as a wild card, got him to the final only to lose? Questionable booking by AEW. But again, this is a nitpick more than anything else. But at the end of the day, I can't be too mad about it. So, nothing more to say. Matchup. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, wins it all. He gets the shot at the AEW World Title at All In.
These two worked so well together and added another fantastic performance to their resumes. This felt totally different from their last match thanks to Hangman's new attitude. This bout had a little bit of everything and had the crowd fully invested. Danielson's neck was his Hangman's main target. The ringside doctor checked on him a few times, and Danielson barely made it back to the ring to avoid a countout. He accidentally knocked the ref out with a running knee, and Page took the opportunity to use his belt as a weapon. Double J tried to intervene, revealed a referee shirt under his own. Both competitors came close to winning, but it was Danielson who was able to win with a counter into a pin. Hangman stormed off looking upset as a bloody and battered Danielson was presented with the belt and trophy for winning by not just Jeff Jarrett, but also by the widow of Owen Hart, that being the lovely Miss Dr. Martha Hart. So, Danielson's counter into a one-legged Boston Crab was smooth, and Hangman landed right on his head after a spider suplex from Danielson. Another excellent match between these two. 4.5 to 4 3/4 of a star. I definitely agree with the rating. You could certainly make an argument for 5 if you wanted to, but at the end, I know there was some story with. I know there's still some history with Hangman and Swerve. I understand that, but the thing is, let's not forget Bryan Danielson. Just like John Cena, Bryan Danielson is in the midst of a farewell tour, and
yeah, this could be his last. This could be his last opportunity as a full-time wrestler.
Exactly,
and I think that's the reason why they gave it to Bryan Danielson. I get people are not happy about Adam Hangman Page losing after just coming back, but at any other time, I mean, any other person, I would say Adam Hangman Page all day. But
yeah,
Bryan Danielson is in his this could be his last chance at the world title as a full-time wrestler. So they had to give it to the right man.
And I'll be honest with you. There's a part of me that's hoping that he gets one last title run before he calls it a career. I really do. I mean, this is the most excited I've been about Bryan Danielson probably in over 10 years, probably since the whole Yes movement at WrestleMania 30. When you know how bad I wanted to see him win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and he did. So, well, I know it for some people, including MF, it's an unpopular decision, but at the same time, let's not forget the story. Bryan Danielson, his last year as a full-time wrestler. Give him one more title run before he calls it a career. I'd be good with it. I would love to see him with that title. I really would. So, yes, there is story with Hangman and Swerve. There is some backstory. We know the history. We know the intense personal rivalry. You never know. This may not be a straight up one-on-one match. Who knows? Hangman could still find his way into this thing. You never know. So we'll have to wait and find out. But nonetheless, fight of the night, 4.5 to 4 3/4 of a star. So Michael Bullock, he is the American Dragon, but he'll always be the yes man to us. And yes, Mr. Danielson, perhaps his last opportunity at the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, and I would love it. I would love to see him get one last title run before he calls it a career.
I would love to see that too if that happens. And I already made my said what I said earlier, so I'm giving this 4.5, 4 3/4. What a match this was! I mean, it was everything what we expected. So I already said what I said earlier, so it's your Sledge.
All right, so with that said, we do indeed move on, and the next thing that we do have here was the FTW champion Chris Jericho, the Learning Tree Chris Jericho, going one-on-one with Samoa Joe in a Stampede street fight. Non-title though, title was not on the line, and Chris Jericho wins the match via referee stoppage in 12 minutes and 35 seconds. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
3 1/4 to 3.5. This match had some entertaining moments, but the pacing was a little off in some places. Once they got backstage, Big Bill and Brian Keith helped the Learning Tree get the upper hand. They loaded Joe onto a forklift, and Chris Jericho drove it through a makeshift wall. the doctor called off the match and Jericho was declared the winner. And so I'm gonna paraquote my man Bret the Hitman Hart. He once said, "You don't wear a cowboy hat in Canada unless you are a real cowboy." Truer words right there. And Samoa Joe, the face, when Jericho tried to suplex him, Joe had this like, "Are you kidding me?" look on his face. Hilarious. But other than that, 3 1/4, teetering on 3 1/2. Not much more to say here. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, 3 1/4, 3 1/2. I mean, yeah, you knew Jericho was going to take advantage of this being a Stampede match. So, and you know that the is Big Bill and Brian Keith were going to get involved. So, nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch. 3 1/4, 3 1/2.
Yeah, 3 1/4, 3 1/2, no doubt about it. Yeah, really nothing more to say. You guys kind of touched on it, so we'll just move on along. A fatal 4-way where the winner receives an international championship title shot down the line, as it was the Bastard Pack, Kyle Fletcher, Tomohiro Ishii from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Claudio Castagnoli, and it was the Bastard winning the match. 11 minutes and 10 seconds. Michael Bullock, it is all yours.
I'll give this about another 3 1/4, 3 1/2. I mean, it was utterly crazy with this, and the action there was just pretty good. And and now Pac will take on whoever is the AEW International Champion, because it was announced that next week on AEW Dynamite, Will Ospreay will defend the title against MJF. So whoever comes out of that will have to face Pac. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, nothing really more to say. It was done pretty well. So great matchup, 3 stars. Nothing more to add. So Anthony, it is yours.
3 1/4, another 3 1/4, 3 1/2. They wasted no time going from 0 to 60. Everyone was fighting all over the place, but Castagnoli emerged as the early leader before the show went to break. They packed a lot into the time they had. We saw sequences with every combination of opponents and some great multi-man spots. Entertaining sprint that made all 4 men look good, but after everything was said and done, Pac emerged as the winner after making Kyle Fletcher tap out to the Brutalizer. Tomohiro Ishii fighting everyone at once was a fun moment. So another 3 1/4 to 3 1/2 star match. So not much more to say here. So MF, let's move on.
All right. Then we had a promo segment between Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker. That was pretty good. I'm not going to say anything about it, but I'm not going to get into it because I do not want Anthony Florio to rage, because Mercedes Moné did something criminal that you don't do in Canada, and especially in Calgary. There's only one person that has the right to say it, and sweetheart, you ain't it. And I'll leave it at that.
As soon as I heard it, I'm like thinking, oh gosh, Florio must be.
I was thinking, I am not going to bring this up. I'm not going to bring this as a talking point because I do not want Florio raging, because we all know how much I know that must have triggered him big time. There's certain things you do, there's certain things you say. The minute you do that, you're asking for trouble. So I'm just leaving it there.
You're knocking on, Mercedes. Long story short, after what you did tonight, sweetheart, you're knocking on trouble's door. That's
it. So,
and you've lost the respect of Anthony Florio.
Pretty much, yeah. So main event, Willow Nightingale versus Mariah May. This was for the Owen Hart Women's Cup final, and it was Mariah May. She wins it. She wins it in 12 minutes even. That gives her the shot at the AEW Women's title. So it will be Mariah May versus the timeless one, Toni Storm, for the title. But what happened next Whoa, we did not see this coming.
It was brutal.
It was an emphatic beatdown. Mariah May turned on Toni Storm. Now, I think we were thinking the other way around. I think, honestly, I thought it was going to be the other way around. I thought it was going to be Mariah. I thought it was going to be Toni turning on Mariah because of the
Mina Shirakawa.
Because of all that stuff. I thought that was going to lead to Toni getting a little angry at Mariah because of the little. How can I say this without getting in trouble? I guess
I think
the
I know
love
what you mean,
affair.
Fletch, so
the love affair.
To...
Yeah, but the love affair between Mina and Mariah, and maybe Toni would have gotten jealous about it and this and that. Oh no, they went a completely different direction, a total 180 reversal, and Mariah absolutely beat the daylights out of Timeless Toni Storm, but then Luther got thrown through a table. What the F?
And then she shoved referee Aubrey Edwards.
Oh, that's gonna pay. Somebody's gonna get fined for that. Mariah's going to get a hefty fine for pushing.
Call Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce is the fine king right now.
But is anybody going to want to say that to Mariah May after what she did tonight?
Well,
I'm certainly not. But yeah, this is a different Mariah May. I mean, that sweet talking girl, she showed a different side that I don't think any of us expected. I mean, she beat the holy hell out of Toni Storm. I mean, to the point that she actually busted Toni Storm wide open.
Yeah, it was more. That was more than just a crimson mask on Toni Storm. We've seen bad blood. We've seen a lot of bad cuts or bad, where
she got a really good
where blood was like spewing everywhere. That was basically, she was almost spewing out like a fountain. That was a horrific cut on her. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say, guys. So let's just I'll
give this about maybe 3.25, 3.5. That's what I'll say on it. But man, but before that, she used the Owen Hart tournament championship belt to whip Toni Storm with that. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I mean, I'm glad Martha Hart wasn't out there for that, because knowing Mariah May's new attitude, I wonder if she would have done the same thing to Martha. Who knows? But yeah, now it's going to be Mariah May and Toni Storm for the title at All In. But yeah, this is a new look Mariah May, and one I'm sure I don't want to deal with, one that I'm sure Michael Fletcher doesn't want to deal with, and one that I'm sure Anthony Florio doesn't want to mess with. Because if we mess with her, she probably would give us the same beating like she did to Toni Storm. So nothing more to say. It is yours, Fletch.
Yeah, I mean, this was like the match itself was good. The main event match was good. It was a solid battle, great fight, and everybody was all. It was all good. It was all nice. It was all nice and everything else. And we were thinking, oh, if they'll have a civil match. No. Mariah just threw things. She basically went beyond the realm of possibility and said, screw all that crap, and basically beat the living taillights out of Toni Storm. We were shocked. Like, that was we knew, like, we would have known a swerve was coming from a mile away. I don't think none of us saw that kind of a swerve. So for Mariah, because like we said, I honestly thought it was going to be Tony Storm that was going to pull the trigger on Mariah, not the other way around. So I got caught off guard. Bullet got caught off guard. Maybe Florio had some kind of inkling about it, but I don't know if you honestly would have thought something like this. But my God, man! So I really got nothing else to say. And yeah, Anthony Florio, 3 to 3.5 stars. And my God, Mariah May has made herself quite a threat for the AEW Women's title.
Oh man, AEW gave Willow and Mariah a lot of time and promised an overrun to give them a few extra minutes, and they filled that time with a hard-fought exchange that made them both look like worthy winners of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. I'll tell you what, between the match and the turn at the end, this was the perfect way to end the show and kick off this new feud. And no, this is one of the rare times where I'll tell you, I mean, even I didn't see this coming. I mean, we knew a turn was coming. We just didn't know. I thought maybe they would have saved it for a little further down because we got a long way to go before we get to All In. All In's not till the 25th of August, but my goodness, I mean, wow. And you may have noticed Willow Nightingale with her black and yellow gear. That was when Owen Hart was, of course, a part of the Nation of Domination. Nice little throwback there. And Mariah May's headbutt to counter Willow's pounce was awesome. So we gotta acknowledge that. Solid 3.5 stars, and I'll go as far as to call it sleeper fight of the night. I didn't really have all that high a hope for this match, but I'll give them credit. I mean, they put them in the main event spot, and when you put something in the main event spot, it normally means that something wild and crazy is going to happen. And sure enough, it did. And MF, are you getting Mickey James and Trish Stratus vibes out of this?
I don't even know what to even say because that was wild, man. Especially for Mariah, that was a side of her I think none of us thought we would see. And sure enough,
she smeared Tony's blood on her.
Yeah.
We got one word for you, Mariah. Lithium.
Yeah.
As MF and JR playfully said during the Mickey and Trish from 22.
It was insane. It was insane. That was quite a way to close the show, no doubt about that. So
absolutely.
Nothing more to say. Look, overall review, man, this is hard to rate. I would probably say 8 out of 10. I thought they did a really good job. All the matches were great. And, there was maybe a couple matches where I was like, eh. But at the end of the day, that's exactly how it plays out. And, yeah, there's really nothing more to add. So, Anthony, it is all yours.
As a whole, this was one of the best episodes of Dynamite in 2024. It had everything you could ask for from an episode of AEW TV. The promos we got from various people all helped set up various feuds for All In and Blood and Guts. But it was in the ring where everything was clicking. Samoa Joe and Chris Jericho's street fight was a good angle, but the match itself was down the middle. The other 3 bouts all excelled in different ways. Hangman Adam Page and Bryan Danielson put on an absolute banger. The Fatal 4-Way was an entertaining exhibition of 4 very different talents, and the main event delivered a tremendous ending to the Women's Owen Hart tournament and a turn from Mariah May that is going to have a lot of people talking. Toni Storm ending Dynamite with blood and tears streaming down her face as her former protege stood over her with an evil grin is the perfect way to initiate the next chapter of their story. I'm actually going to go a little higher than MF. I'm actually going to give this in excess of 8.5 to 9 out of 10. Very good show tonight, to say the least. And the promos were good too. So not much more to say. 8.5 to 9 out of 10. Nothing left to say except take us home, Bullock.
Yeah, 8.5 for me. This was a really good show. I mean, the promos were good. The matches were good. I mean, there's really nothing bad to say about it. So Fletch, let's call it a night.
All right. And with that said, as of right now, we don't have anything for Thursday. I guess we're doing Cerebral Smack Talk on Friday, or are we doing it Saturday, guys? What do you want to do? Because how are you
Says you.
I'm fine with doing it on Friday.
on Friday?
Yeah.
All right, because I don't think there's anything else that we got in the format, so it's just SmackDown Live.
Well,
So,
what about your big three? You haven't done that in a while.
the big three too. Yeah, so we'll do it Friday night. So because I believe the action is on, I think the big three this week is Sunday.
Yeah,
Let me see.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is Sunday.
so we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. But yeah, Friday we'll do the big three, and then obviously SmackDown Live, and that'll be it for this week. So that'll be Friday 10:30. Until then, for Anthony Floyo, for Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you all on Friday.